What's up guys, Travis Bogart here at Above the Rest Training Systems in Cheyenne, Wyoming, where we make you strong to elevate your game. This week we're bringing you a video on the Paused Spoto Press. We're going to start by talking about some key points to performing the Paused Spoto Press, then roll into some common mistakes we see when performed here at the gym, and then lastly we're going to talk programming and how you can incorporate the Paused Spoto Press into your own training. Let's dive in. When performing the Paused Spoto Press, we want to make sure that we're using all of the cues and all of the setup techniques that we know to get into a great bench press position. You can perform this close grip, you can perform it wide grip, but for the most specificity and the most carryover to your bench press, use the same grip and everything that you would in your competition bench press. The only exception to that is if you're one of these bench pressers that uses a very, very wide grip to gain a technical advantage in the competition press, you might consider bringing your grip in a little bit to force yourself through more work. To initiate a rep of the Paused Spoto Press, you're going to lower the bar just like you would in any other bench press rep. The key difference is that we're going to pause with the bar just off our chest and hold it for the prescribed amount of time in our program. Use a tool like a timer or a metronome app on your phone to make sure that you're holding the pause for the prescribed amount of time. Once you've held the pause for the prescribed amount of time, fire back to the start position as explosively as possible. The first common mistake that we see when performing the Paused Spoto Press is the double dip. One of the reasons that this variation is so effective is because it removes the stretch reflex. But when we allow for a double dip coming out of the pause, we're putting that stretch reflex right back into the variation and effectively defeating the purpose. Avoid this double dip at all costs, driving straight back up as soon as the time is done in the pause. The second common mistake that we see when performing the Paused Spoto Press is that the technique to hold the pause has a tendency to look a lot different than it does when we're actually performing the competition bench press. Especially as the weight gets heavy, holding that pause can be extremely stressful. When we subject ourselves to these stressful situations, we tend to shut our brain off and let the body do whatever it must to survive. That means that we could do all kinds of weird stuff to make sure that we keep holding that pause for this variation. If you're running into this issue, try to take a deep breath, try to make sure that you can think under the load, and if you still can't seem to figure it out, lower the weight. To make sure that you're doing it accurately, video a couple of reps of you performing your competition bench press, and then compare video of the Paused Spoto Press as you're performing it during your workout. The video of the Paused Spoto Press should just look like you took a pause in the video of your competition bench press. The last common mistake that we tend to see in the Paused Spoto Press is that athletes will use more weight than they can handle, and they won't be able to stop the bar to initiate the pause. The Spoto Press is unique because we're redirecting the press an inch or so off the chest. If we're using too much weight and the barbell drives itself down past our ability to stop it and hits our chest, then it kind of defeats the purpose of the bench press variation. If this is happening to you, lower the weight so that you can control the bar and pause where you need to get the best adaptation from this exercise. When it comes to programming the Paused Spoto Press, one of our favorite places to put it is in your classic strength block. This is the phase of training between your more general pressing work and your higher intensity peaking pressing work before a contest. Because the Paused Spoto Press does pause us an inch above the chest, it's not as specific to the bench press as a competition bench press, which makes it less appropriate than the competition bench press for peaking work before a contest. At the same time, the pause nature of this bench press variation makes it a little less ideal for hypertrophy work. Isometrics tend to give us a functional adaptation more so than a structural one. The functional adaptation that you'll get from this Paused Spoto variation makes it perfect for the strength block in your classic periodization programming. The second place that we like to put this exercise is during dynamic effort work in a conjugate block. Using a unique setup for the bands and chains, we can actually remove most of the load once we have to initiate the pause. This can allow you to ensure that your technique is perfect by lightening the load right there at the most difficult portion of the exercise. Then as the pause ends, the accommodative resistance kicks in and you have to drive extra hard to get back to lockout. Programming the Paused Spoto Press in this way is highly recommended if you struggle to stop the bar 1 inch off the chest. Using minimal bar weight but a lot of accommodative resistance, you can still get a highly fatiguing workout and get a lot of work in, but you don't run the risk of your technique falling apart every time you go to stop the bar. The third and last place that we recommend programming in the Paused Spoto variation is for Overspeed Eccentrics. Being able to absorb the force of a barbell is a precursor to then being able to redirect it explosively. By actually rowing the bar into the paused position, you can force your system to really have to absorb a ton of force and get a great adaptation that can then be turned into explosiveness later in training. Programming the Overspeed Eccentrics in for a dynamic effort day works nicely when it's then followed up by other dynamic effort ways that key in on explosiveness. First, we're teaching the athlete to absorb force, then we're teaching the athlete to exhibit force. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. We have a lot more content coming your way. We'll catch you in the next video.